Joining me now live in the studio is the Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister, Richard Marles. Thanks for your time as always.
Good to be here, Kieran.
Peter Dutton says you should have gone bigger in the support package. And why no Hawkeyes?
Well, firstly, in terms of the size of the package, we are now and have been the largest non-NATO, one of the largest non-NATO contributors to supporting Ukraine. Ukraine certainly understand that we're punching above our weight in that respect. We're one of the largest contributors in the Indo-Pacific. So, there is a balancing act here in terms of what are our own needs with our capability, but also making sure that we stand with Ukraine in the defence of their country, but also in the defence of the global rules-based order in which our national interest is so significantly engaged. And so this is a significant package. We've been essentially doing packages every 3 or 4 months since we've come to office. In respect of Hawkeyes, we've spoken with Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine came to us with on this occasion with a menu of items that they thought could help in terms of assisting them. We've worked with them in relation to that. We had real concerns about how Hawkeye would operate in their environment. And we've obviously been talking through that with them. And the package is what we've come up with.
The Hawkeye is an armoured vehicle like the Bushmaster. They clearly believe that the Bushmaster has worked very effectively for them, and they wanted Bushmasters, Hawkeyes or Abrams tanks. It doesn't look like you've delivered on any of those in this package.
Well, the 113s, of which we're providing 28, is an infantry fighting vehicle, and it is much more suited to the environment that they're in right now. I mean, the Hawkeyes are not really like Bushmasters. They're a much lighter vehicle. In fact, they're really designed to be carried around by helicopters, which is not the context in which we see this fight here. And there are other issues that we think mean the Hawkeyes were not particularly suitable for Ukraine. I mean, we want to come up with assistance which is practical and which is going to make a difference. We've talked that through with Ukraine. They understand that, and they understand the issues that we've raised around Hawkeyes. But, I mean, they're pretty happy with the package that we've announced. And it does include infantry fighting vehicles, which is very much at the core of what they were seeking, along with special operation vehicles, armoured trucks. It's a significant package which will make a difference. We're very proud to make the announcement.
OK, well, I'll put you another critique. This was from Michael Shoebridge, former ASPI, now independent defence strategist. He says the Australian government Ukraine support fails to meet the lowest expectations. He said on his social media post, 70 military vehicles, includes 28 trucks, 28 obsolete Vietnam-era M113s that were destined for the boneyard. And he said, if that's it, Mr Albanese should stay away from the NATO meeting in July.
Well, again, we'll take our cues from the government of Ukraine, rather than Michael Shoebridge. And the government of Ukraine have made really clear their support for it. They've made that publicly. They've put out a public message since we've made the announcement earlier this morning. It is a very significant package. It's in addition to the 28 113s that we've sent previously, which are currently being used in Ukraine and which are suitable to the environment in which this conflict is happening, and it represents a very significant package. I mean, the point I would make is that Ukraine understand we are punching above our weight here, and they've been very clear about that, as have NATO and Europe. And so this will be very well received. We are, as I say, we are one of the largest non-NATO contributors to this conflict. The largest is Sweden, and they're about to join NATO. So that phrase may change in the next month. And I think the fact that we are giving this support from this side of the world is something that's very well understood. And Minister Reznikov, my counterpart in Ukraine, has been publicly thanking us just in the last couple of hours.
And with the Hawkeye, it's not because of some issue with the brakes or some mechanical problem that you haven't offered them?
Look, I don't think I'm not going to go through the specifics of that in public. We have talked through these issues with Ukraine. We want to make a difference in terms of the contribution that we are making. We did not believe that Hawkeyes would be suitable and would be of assistance, and that was something that Ukraine understood.
Is there a chance the Prime Minister might go further when he gets to NATO, or is this the package he's taking?
Well, I think, look, what I would say is look at our form. I mean, the point that we've been making is that we want to support Ukraine for as long as it takes for Ukraine to resolve this conflict on its terms. And we see this as a protracted conflict, which is going to go for a significant amount of time. Since we've been in government, we've been making iterative announcements of support for Ukraine every 4 months or so, July, October and February, and now in June. Most of the military support that has been provided by the Australian government to Ukraine has happened since the last election. And that's an important point to understand. We will stay with Ukraine for as long as it takes. And in terms of what we announce in the future, I think you can look at the way in which we've been conducting ourselves in the past to get a sense of that.